Hi, I'm Dr. Emily, the Natural Family Planning Pharmacist, and today I wanted to answer one of the more common questions I get asked, which is, how do I know if I ovulated? Well, let's talk a little bit more about your fertile window. So, what I like to talk about when I'm talking to people about natural family planning and what I go into a little bit more in depth on in my free monthly workshop is finding your window and using your info. So, to know if you ovulated, you need to know a little bit more about your fertile window. The menstrual cycle is a lot more than just the bleeding of your period. And I love this graphic. It's from medcomic.com. All the credit goes there. But I like how it displays the full picture of what's going on in your menstrual cycle. So, the bleeding of your period is the first day of your menstrual cycle, but that is only the very beginning. There's lots of other things that are going on during your cycle. You have different hormones that are being released and levels that are changing throughout your cycle. So, at the beginning of your cycle, your estrogen level is very low. But as your cycle increases, your estrogen level starts to rise too. And as your estrogen level starts to rise, the thickness of your uterine lining or endometrium starts to increase. Also, at this point, your body starts producing more cervical mucus or cervical fluid. And then when estrogen hits its highest level, that stimulates the release of another hormone called luteinizing hormone or LH. And when that hormone's released, that stimulates the release of the egg or ovulation. And so once that egg is released, it is only able to stick around for 24 hours. And then at that point, when the egg is released, your body produces estrogen or progesterone, and you have more of that cervical mucus, and the lining of your endometrium has a lot of blood flow. And then as your cycle goes on and is almost time for another menses to happen, then that endometrial lining starts to get thinner, and then the bleeding of your period is the shedding of that lining and getting ready for a whole nother cycle. So, when we talk about finding out if you ovulated and finding your fertile window, you need to know about some of the main fertility signs. And so, the most common and scientifically based natural family planning methods use at least one of these four signs to identify your individual fertile days. And the really great thing about these fertility signs is these are natural signs that your body is giving you, and these are signs that can be tracked with your normal bedroom and bathroom habits, and with either no tools or very minimal tools. So, what are your body's signs of fertility? Well, I mentioned cervical fluid or cervical mucus. So, this is one sign that you can use to know if you ovulated. And what's really great about cervical fluid is that you can use it to predict when ovulation is coming and then also confirm that it did come. So, what you will notice at the time of ovulation is that your cervical fluid is clear in color, very stretchy, and slippery or wet. When you wipe, there's this very slippery feeling. And so when you're monitoring cervical fluid, you are just using the bathroom, wiping, and then paying attention to what's on the toilet tissue and paying attention to the characteristics. And so if you start doing this every day, you'll notice a change in the characteristics building up to this clear, stretchy, and slippery fluid at the time of ovulation. And then you'll notice a change again to not very stretchy, cloudy, even yellow in color, or no mucus at all. And so once you notice that change, that's when you can confirm that yes, you did ovulate. Another sign that can be used to confirm that ovulation happened is resting body temperature or basal body temperature. With this sign, it's not as good at predicting when your ovulation will happen, but it is very good at confirming that ovulation did occur. And that's because your body temperature will rise subtly after ovulation. And so all you need to track this sign is a thermometer that can measure accurately, so out to at least 2 decimal points, which now you can find those kind of thermometers at a drugstore, wherever you like to make purchases. Um, the thing about the temperature is that you do want to be tracking it every day and really at the same time every day. And you do need to get a consistent amount of sleep to be able to get an accurate reading. Another sign that you can look at is urinary hormone levels. So now there are ways to check your hormone levels just at home with a simple urine test. So similar to if you've ever taken a pregnancy test, you can just take a little test strip and check your urine, and it can detect levels of both estrogen and luteinizing hormone. And so with this sign, you too can predict when ovulation is going to happen and then confirm that it did happen. And so there are devices like the Clear Blue Fertility Monitor that will detect that rise in estrogen and then that luteinizing hormone too. And when you see that luteinizing hormone, that means that ovulation happened. And then when you test after that and confirm that it's not detecting that anymore, then that confirms that ovulation did happen. Lastly, you could pay attention to physical changes in your cervix. So you could do an internal examination, being sanitary, of course. And what you'll find that is that at the time of ovulation, the cervix will change from more firm to feeling soft, and from being high in position to more low. And then after ovulation, it will move back to becoming more firm and sitting higher. And so if you pay attention to this every day, you can notice these subtle signs, and you can notice when it looks to be your time of ovulation and when ovulation did happen. So natural family planning and paying attention to fertility signs, there's multiple ways to do it. So you can confirm that you ovulated with changes in your cervical fluid, with hormone levels, with a daily body temperature reading, or from doing an internal examination of your cervix. And then, like I mentioned, you want to pay attention. So this is just one example of a kind of chart that you could use. I like to use, so this is just an in Excel, and then I like to upload it to Google Sheets, so I just always have it on my phone too. But I just pay attention to my fertility signs, keep track of them. So this is an example of a chart. This person was using both the cervical mucus and the monitor, the urine hormone level testing, keeping track of it. And then you can see here, this person was getting this peak type of mucus, so that clear, stretchy, and slippery mucus, and got a peak reading on the monitor, meaning that it detected that luteinizing hormone, that time of ovulation, and then there was a change afterwards. And so this person can say, yep, I did ovulate. So how can you learn more? I am the host of the Holy a Woman podcast, and I have a number of podcast episodes that talk about fertility signs and natural family planning. So that's a great way to stay connected. And, I'm always pushing out new episodes every week, so you can hear more there. I also have resources on my website at nfppharmacist.com. Go to the resources page. I mentioned I teach a free virtual workshop, and there's other information about natural family planning there. Facts About Fertility is a really helpful resource about fertility signs and different natural family planning methods. There's also like the textbook on natural family planning is called Taking Charge of Your Fertility by Toni Weschler. And if you're willing to sit down and read a thick book, she talks you through how you can pay attention to your fertility signs as well. Otherwise, feel free to book a free 15-minute phone or video call with me. I would love to talk to you. If you have more questions about ovulation or tracking your fertility signs. And then again, too, I host a free monthly virtual workshop, and I'd love to see you there. If you have even further questions, you can send me an email, or again, book some time with me, and I will do my best to answer it or find you the resource to get you the answer that you need. Thank you.